Hey there, outliers. Niiamah Ashong here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey today. Wow, we get to be on the Outliers Edge podcast where we bring together extraordinary outliers to share more about their stories and how they continue to level up in their impact, their income, and their identity so that they can bring all of who they are and create a new path for themselves and those they lead. I'm excited to bring you in here to get to know our panel of five amazing outliers as we have a roundtable discussion on the things that keep them continuing to level up. Let's give you a chance to get to know these outliers here. Bryan, why don't we start with you? Do you mind sharing more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Yes, so my name is Bryan Sa Pimentel. I'm from Montreal, Quebec. So I currently own a small private group facility in Montreal, Quebec, where I train people, where I guide them through fitness, but not just fitness, nutrition. We do workshops inside the gym. We do retreats all over the world. It's a really inclusive gym, and we got people from all ages. Uh, Really fun. People love coming here, and that's it.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm excited to see how you bring your outlier into your space there. Mark, let's get to know you. Do you mind sharing more about you and the game you're playing?
Yes, I'm Mark West. I'm in California right now by way of Chicago. The easiest way to wrap up what I do in a nutshell is kind of like life branding. I act in film and on stage. I own a tour company in Chicago and in Tahoe, as well as having a podcast that's about health and healing. It's just trying to live a life that's unique and helpful for each person and knowing that looks different for everybody and not trying to build a box that measures success.
Yeah, yeah. The box here is something that we outliers tend to dismantle, throw away, and consistently step outside of. So I'm glad that you're playing there. I'm excited to see what more we can play with life branding as well. Dawn, let's get to the chance to get to know you. Tell us more about you and the game you're currently playing.
I am a life coach, and all my clients are really virtual. So I have clients throughout the United States, and I have clients from age literally 17 to 77. And everyone deserves a good life. Life isn't always easy, but the power of belief, and sometimes you need someone in your corner. So I feel that's what drives me. I've had to work on myself and maybe not have support for a long time. Sometimes we don't grow up in a family that provides that. And we look to mentors and teachers and things like that. And so now I've flipped it. I'm helping people because I saw the power of that in my life when I had no one to help me.
Well, thank you, Dawn. Thank you for being one of the people here to help us out here because I think there's something about the outlier journey that can be inherently isolating if we're not paying in here. And I think there's a lot of outliers out here that are like, okay, like it'd be good to be getting some support here. So thanks for bringing yourself in. All right. Javier, let's get to know you. Share about your you and the game you're playing right now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Javier. I'm from Mexico City, currently living in Washington, D.C. I have a website. It's called Political Fashion. It's everything that relates to politics and fashion, from sustainability, perceptions of gender, history of fashion, symbolism. The idea is to, give people of different backgrounds a voice and also have a better, deeper relationship with your clothes because we are all wearing clothes. And they can really have a positive impact in our personal and professional journey. So that is what political fashion is.
Yeah, Javier, I'm glad you're here because I feel like there's like just something like an outlier juxtaposition on it. It's like, all right, politics, I get it. And you're like, and then the relationship with your clothes, I'm like, huh, did not see that that was something I should be exploring here. Thank you for playing the game that you play because like outliers, like even as you're hearing it, see how many different ways I would want to explore more about this, Javier, about how you bring those things together and how we all do that in different ways. Jada, let's get to know you, and then we'll continue on from there. Tell us more about you and the game you're currently playing.
Hey, my name is Jada. I was listening to everybody trying to figure out like what do I actually do, but I'm actually a truck driver, and the way I see life is like you're taking like your own. The way I see my life, the way I live my life is like you journey through your own perspectives. Truck driving has really helped me and entered helped me with my healing. So it's like as I journey through life, I just like see it as an open and different perspective.
Well, thank you for bringing that here, and I'm excited to see like how we take the journey here and all the different perspectives that come along. Um, let's get things started here. Um, I am so before we started our conversation, I asked everyone a question to bring us all into space, and Mark had this really great response here about how he makes a chocolate chip cookie, and you brought in the amount of time it took. Right? You said like 48 hours to make a great chocolate chip cookie. Hopefully, I'm not revealing too
Yes.
many like secrets here. Like,
Oh no, that's
um,
all right.
and but that made me think, right? That made me think about like for me, how many times I just want to get like an easy bake oven kind of like response for something, right? Okay, let me just put a chocolate chip cookie into the oven, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't even know how long it takes. I just go out to the store and buy it because it's faster, like so when you said 48 hours to make something, and I could feel how much you stood behind that cookie, right?
Oh
You're
yeah,
like
definitely.
your life will change. There's before and after, right?
Hmm.
I felt with you, I was like, this right here is owning who you are and owning your outlier there, right? So I'm gonna bring this question. I'll start with you, Mark, on it, but then I'm gonna like bring everyone else in here. Um, I want you to speak a bit about something that you do in your business or in like how you show up, where people don't recognize how much work goes into being able to create that level of goodness. And I think I want to put that out here so the outliers can kind of see a little bit about like the work that is being done and how you translate that out. So, Mark, would you mind getting us started on that?
Oh yeah, for sure. The overarching theme that I said I do a number of different things, but they're all tied into this idea of mindfulness. And my love for eating came from being an American and living, having all these great holidays. But I was cooking during that time, and that became my time of healing. And so, with my tour companies that I have, as particularly one out in Chicago, they're actually food tour companies. So I take people to different restaurants. You have a little bit to eat at each restaurant, and you learn about the neighborhood through the local restaurants. But while you're there, I tell you what's special about it. For instance, people ever know Chicago's deep dish, so I'll just take that route. If you go to the actual dish spot, they will tell you that we only have locations here in Chicago and there's one location in Arizona. Because what makes deep dish special is the Chicago water. Not that it's the best water in the world, being in Tahoe right now, but I'm like, the water is what makes it special. And California tomatoes. So all they do is put crushed tomatoes on a dough that has Chicago water and give it time. So the 48 hours for the chocolate chip cookies is actually something that I'm in right now. I'm in a period of rest. The 48 hours is the time it takes for that dough to rest. And if you don't let it rest, it won't reach its peak perfection. And that's something in the modern age now, myself especially. I'm in an age where I don't really have a lot going on right now. I don't have projects lined up, and I'm doing it intentionally, and I'm so anxious right now. Um, my productivity, my self-worth is so tied into being busy. And so a lot of my podcasts, a lot of my tours, a lot of any of the things that I do is centered around being in the moment. There's nowhere else to be but right now. So long as you're in the moment right now, you're exactly where you need to be, because good things come to those who wait. Wait those 48 hours and you will be a new person after you have these chocolate chip cookies.
I appreciate. See, Mark, that's what got me started on this year, and I'm curious for you all. I want to open this up to everyone. I'm gonna go to Brian and Dawn on this one here too, but I want to know a little bit more about like your secret genius, the element of like something that you find that you've really put a lot of effort into, or like that most people wouldn't get that like there's actually a secret behind all this here. So Brian, let me go to you, then we go to Dawn. Mark, thanks for starting us off.
So I just want to start off by saying, Mark, very eloquently put. Whenever you're speaking, I love listening to. I feel like I can listen to your podcast. I think I'm gonna sign up to your podcast right after logging off
Yeah,
this
for
one.
sure. Self plug.
So something that I put in. So at the gym here we have roughly around 150 members. Okay, and these members, like I mentioned before, they go from maybe in their 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way to maybe almost 60s. Okay. And for you to have all these people be able to play out a game where they're all training together, conversating together, well, you have to make sure that you're picking the right clientele in terms of attitude, in terms of personality, because you want people to mesh together, but also that you're able to elaborate a plan that is individualized, but also something where people can relate, right? So in this kind of journey of fitness, every person has to go through a certain programming here at the gym. So every day there's different classes, but it's a different programming every day. So in order to find the right programming, so people can have fun, people can progress, and everybody can relate to each other together in terms of this workout, it's something that may look easy to the naked eye, but it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of experience too. I've had a lot of people in the last years that come to work at my gym and they're like, oh my God, like this is really advanced stuff. And I didn't think too much of it at first, but it actually takes a lot of time. And also another aspect that we often forget in fitness is the how personable are you as a coach? And some people are born with, lucky enough, I was born in a big family, so it came kind of easy, this ability to be able to relate to people. But if you come from a family that's more secular, more, in between them, or if if you're just different type of personality, it can be very difficult, you know what I mean, in order to relate to people and no matter the age, you could be 30, 20, or 60, and be able to relate to those people and let them open up. So I think those are the certain things that take a lot of, preparation beforehand, but that people don't see, but is really what makes the gym and the community special.
Thanks for bringing that in. Uh, let's keep building up on this here. So I'm liking this element of the preparation. I'm liking this thing here. And allies, the reason I'm sharing this here is I want you to be thinking about things for yourself here. What is something that you do that most other people wouldn't necessarily recognize that you appreciate? In fact, before you even get to other people, think about it for yourself. What's something that you might now may not be recognizing how much work you've put into to really come out? Like Mark and Brian are both out here. Like my programs are amazing. Our cookies are great. Our tours are on point, right? And it's because of the preparation that's there. And I want to just like help us as we're owning our outlier to bring that in more. Let's go to Dawn for a bit, and then Javier and Jada, I'm going to bring you in, but I'm bringing you in with a different question. So Dawn, tell us a bit here around something that you do that you prepare and share more on that.
Okay. I feel like I've been preparing a lifetime. However, when I decided to become a life coach in 2020, I truly was not the business person. So as I'm sure, I read a memoir that helped me realize, yes, even though I was a teacher over 30 years in New York City, Long Island, New York, I always knew my number one interest was the kids, people, their families, not just the academics. Because if you are not okay with yourself and mentally, physically, and spiritually, you can't be your optimum, like, and receive and be and live the life you're meant to be have and reach your potential, which is big. So I did a lot of um I had to work with technology, I'll be honest with you, because in this day and age, I had to put myself out there. So behind the scenes, a lot of it is with Instagram. I love to write, so a lot of it might be writing and doing a blog. I built my website myself. So that is the number one thing that time went in, no one would know that. No one would know that it was a work in progress. So the way it was in the beginning, it doesn't look like that now, but I had to learn and grow. But I put time into that, time into people, time into my coaching practice learning. Um, because also, actually, I want to touch on the business because you might have the gift of wanting to help people, but are you a business person? And I totally wasn't. So that part, a lot of time has gone into be a business person and find how to market myself and even price points. What are the things I'm going to offer that can be affordable to people and different price points?
Thanks, Dawn. I'm starting to get a picture of each person's world here, and I'm going to come to Javier and Jada now with these two questions here, and that's just one question. Um, I want to so a lot of us right now are at a space right where we've gotten to the place we understand who we are, and at the same time, like for what we want to accomplish next, we recognize that there's something that needs to change. It might just be the actions that we take, but typically here speaking, we recognize that there's something about our identity that's also going to shift our identity and our mindset, right? And I'm curious for you, Javier, when you think about, you can play this one of two ways. The safe route is when you think about a recent time that you leveled up, what is a belief about yourself that you leveled up with that needed to level up in order for you to play at that level? Right? I use the word level like several times. So let me repeat that. All right. So what's a belief that you had that you needed to upgrade or level up in order for you to play the game that you play right now? Right. That's one version of it. The other version is to step out onto the edge and say, like, tell us about where you're heading to now, how you look at things now that you haven't actually gotten yet to, and what's the belief that you're currently working on leveling up. So you can play it either one of those two ways. I'm going to start with Javier, then I'll come to Jada, and then we'll just toss it over to the group.
Yeah, I think in a way, it's both. It's to level up and it's also to keep moving forward because the whole concept of political fashion is that knowledge is power, and that I want to like keep informing people about the importance of understanding where your clothes are coming from, the ethics behind it, the importance of giving people of different backgrounds all of these opportunities. And in order to do that, I have to be an informed person. Um, consuming a wide variety of books and podcasts and getting to know a lot of people. So that is something that I have been able that I have to do to level up. And that's something that I have to continue to do to move forward, right? Especially when books are getting banned, when there are like a lot of things that are under attack. I think that to level up, it's also sometimes difficult understanding like what is, I guess, like the thing to focus on next, right? Because fashion is an industry that is constantly changing, and I feel that, you know, when I graduated college, I graduated in 2020, and I feel that I wanted to save the world and I wanted to like save different issues. So it's focusing on one issue at a time. And I feel that I just went on a tangent, so I'm gonna stop talking. But it's mostly, you know, getting informed so that I can level up and keep moving forward.
Javier, one of the things I appreciate you right now is that you called yourself in. All right, you're like, oh wait, hold on, I'm going off here on this space here. Like, I really I love that there from the standpoint of uh, being able to demonstrate what that looks like from a leadership perspective, right? To not have to like to be able to bring yourself in, know where you're headed, and then also recalibrate. I think like there's a lot of things that happen in real time here that we can talk about, but like you actually get it done. So thanks, yeah. Jada, how about you? Same question to you around a belief that needed to up level for you to play the level you play.
So I would say faith and having trust in myself, knowing that I can move forward. I recently just moved to Alabama, like in May, and I've been in a pivotal moment where I had to like take a sit down because I move often too fast with truck driving and like wanting to start my own stuff. So I came to Alabama and I recently like had surgery, so I just had to like take a moment and like sit down. Where I'm going next just requires like more trust and knowing that everything will work out, and like I'm more equipped to do the things that I would like to do in life.
So I'm hearing like changing the location, giving yourself that trust, and actually like bringing out that level of like self understanding of like you are actually equipped to do the things that you're trying to bring to life.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm curious for Brian, Mark, Dawn, any of you want to talk about a belief that's needed to upgrade in order for you to play the level you play right now? And then yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I'll go first. For me, it's a bit what like Jada said, you know, like that self-belief. I was recently in a business mastermind for gym owners in the States and Canada and all over the world. And basically, I was among like the best gym owners in the world. And from sitting down with them, there was this moment and pause where I was like, I'm playing at the same level as these guys, you know? Like I would often look up to these guys saying like, "Oh my God, these guys have this like the secret recipe. They've been doing this for God knows how many years, you know?" And what I just noticed, it was this, I just gotta give myself time. Like Mark was saying, 48 hours, man, for the perfect cookie, you know? And it was the same thing that I needed to understand was like, I'm actually at the same level as these guys. The only difference is that I'm this age and they're this age. So time needs to be taken in order to progress. So just that patience and that self-belief is really something that brought me, I think, my company and me myself to another level.
I love looking at this here. You like so like time is in this space here. So I wanna like now I've kind of gone to each person and said one person at a time. Now we're just gonna open it up, right? Now we're just gonna open it up here, and I kind of want to explore time it feels like time's in the space from the standpoint of time and greatness, time and excellence, right? And so I want to just like open up the conversation to see where y'all want to take it when it comes to things you've learned about time and excellence, and it might directly relate and it may not. And the conversation might go off in a couple of different directions, or at least one other direction from it. That's I'm good with that. I'm going to keep myself muted though until I feel like I need to come back and guide in from here, right? So I'm going to put into this space here time and excellence because I think there's a lot of outliers. Like everything we're sold is just do it now. We will get you from here to here in 3 months. Get you fill up like do this in a week. Get you there. And so when we start actually talking time, I'm like, people aren't saying these things. And I feel like this is where like the actual game is played. So I'll toss it to y'all here. Well, is anyone feeling called to share something that's come to mind? Mark, I see you.
I hesitate because I'm used to being a podcast host. I'm used to like being a tour guide where people just let me talk for hours. So I'm trying not to soapbox, but I can talk about time, especially when it comes to greatness, because since we have a panel of people who can understand each point, we live in a capitalistic society that measures our time. And so we often measure our success based on how long we've been at something. And with myself personally, I've noticed that even when it comes to time invested, and it's like, well, I've been doing this for so long, it's not working for me, it's making me unhappy, but I've invested so much time. And that's when I took this shift into wanting things to be about right now, in the moment, who I am right now, what I can do right now. Because when you think about it, there's no such thing as time. Time came from the labor movement when we stopped getting paid by the day, so they paid us by the hour. Because it's never noon at the same time in Indy City, right? So we're not even existing at the same time. I might say it's 11:36 Pacific Standard, but I might look up at the sky and it's actually high noon based on solar time. Again, I'm trying not to soapbox. But what I've been trying to do is this idea that, especially what Bryan had said, this belief that I had held on to was that these great ideas that I had, it wasn't for me to manifest because of the time needed. I'm too young. I need a mentor. So I was constantly looking for mentors, and I would tell them my great idea, and they'd be like, that doesn't sound like something you should be doing. Do you really think that's something that the city needs? But it wasn't their dream, it was mine. But a lot of the stuff that has been holding me back is this idea of time, which is why now I'm in an intentional period of rest because I've found that I've done a lot of stupid things in the past because I didn't want to waste time. And if you focus on the fact that, hey, everything happens in its time, if it happens tomorrow, are you going to be like, dang it, I hate that it happened tomorrow because it didn't happen last week? No, you're going to be just as happy if it happens tomorrow. So letting go of this idea of everything has to happen at a certain time is the biggest thing that the technology age, the Western age, because everything's got to be entertain me in 10 seconds or I'm moving on. But some things take time. Even a cookie could take 48 hours. So I tried to not to soapbox. I'm gonna keep this open, right? Do you agree, Dawn? I know you had something to say earlier.
I do. It makes me think of how I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now 30 years ago, say straight out of college or in college, that type of thing. So, and not everyone has their dream. That really resonates with me because I've learned you have to be careful who you share your dreams with. And your dream is in your heart. And everyone like cannot relate to that, nor should they. So it's faith, like Jada said, like I always lean on my faith more than ever. So when things aren't happening in time, I always go to God and I ask, should I really be doing this? I've asked him that since I started life coaching because it's not like it happened immediately. It was a slow progress and process. I had to do all the work, but on the surface and on the outside, it would seem like nothing was happening. So I also thought, am I doing the right thing? Is this the direction I should be going in? Maybe I'm not, this is not for me. Maybe the world doesn't need me as a life coach. But every time I asked, something happened. I got a sign literally, like keep going, and a client would come to me. And then now I'm ready for, well, let me tell you this, age is age. So I might be older than some of you. And I thought at the beginning, is this too late for me, like to do this right now? And then I saw a video, no accidents, no coincidence. This actress from LA Law, she received an award at age 53, and she happy as can be. And I've met people who have pivoted from MBAs to doctors later in life, and there's no waste. Like they shifted from 13 years in business and they followed their dream, a new dream. And that's my connection to time. Don't waste it, and don't hold on to these like should haves, and it's never too late. Saying it's too late, it's never too late.
I feel that, in other words, like sometimes like we see the time as a rival, like an enemy, and we need to be like friends with time. Like I feel that sometimes we're behaving like the little rabbit from Wonderland, like running around. The clock is ticking, and there's like a sense of urgency to accomplish things. Or maybe that is like my personal experience with time. That it tends to have a negative connotation. It's too late. It's too early. I'm missing these years of experience, or maybe I have too many. It's too old, it's too late, and maybe it's about like seeing it from a different point of view.
I think it comes down to it allowing yourself to be teachable over time. Like you could say right now, like, oh, it needs to happen right now, or it doesn't need to happen. But I think in hindsight that when we all know that we're human, but allowing ourselves to be at a back in the school grade level to allow ourselves to like be teachable and knowing that like, oh, let me just sit down right now and learn the things that I need to relearn or unlearn the things that I need to. So I stopped doing my podcast due to the simple fact that like I felt like the mindset that I was in, I wasn't going to guide the right people because I was still learning and I was still growing. So it's like I wanted to at least talk to people that I know from a different perspective than what I'm now. So I think when it comes down to time and knowing who you are, is just the baseline and the foundation is to come back to always allowing yourself to be teachable.
Just to cap it off, I think you guys had all amazing things to say. Jada, one thing you mentioned about always being learnable throughout time. There's actually this famous jujitsu fighter called the Kron Gracie. So if you guys know Brazilian jiu-jitsu, he was long time black belt champion and whatnot, and he used to say something and it always stuck with me. He said, "Always remain a white belt all your life." Because no matter how advanced you are, you always can learn something new every day. And when you teach kids, even a kid can teach you if you're able to open yourself and open your horizons. And the word of God can come in different messages, right? So always being able to kind of relate and be relatable and to have that open mindset to always be learning, I think that's one thing that an entrepreneur needs to progress.
And that's definitely someone I would also back. Being a lifetime learner has helped me a lot. It's helped me to overcome a lot of my self-doubt because it's like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Oh, but wait, I'm an amazing learner and I'm teachable. So that has helped get rid of a lot of anxiety and fear and help me get to me where I am today. And I think one thing that I've Bryan, I think since you mentioned that, yeah, from a background in Zen and a background in martial arts, when it comes to time, that's always focusing on process, not product. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure when this dream comes true, I've seen a lot of people, you've even seen it in rom-coms, when that dream comes true, but you've not done any preparation because you've been focusing on on the outcome. You've not been focusing on the process. So I think time can be an enemy because it makes you focus on the product, makes you focus on the outcome and how long it should be taking. And like I said, it could happen tomorrow. So you want to make sure you're prepared today.
Well, I'm appreciative, y'all. Y'all can't even see me here. I realized that my video went off at some point. Don't know when it went off, so sorry, y'all. If like I wasn't trying to hide out in the background, but I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed the conversation where y'all taking it. I want to keep on this element here, and we've gotten into learning and growing, and I want to speak to that because look, honestly, I feel it myself right now. Right, as I'm going through this place where Marky brought in dreams, right? And said not everyone has that dream. Well, one of my dreams is like I just want to be able to like make a eight-figure business where all I got to do is talk. right? Like that's the underlying part of it. I'm consistently trying to figure out like how to make that work. So I'm curious for you all, as you all are building out your dreams, as you all are building out something that maybe other people either don't know, don't approve, wonder why you're doing that out of all the other things that you're doing, or maybe you just don't know anyone else who's doing it like that. I'm curious how y'all keep learning and keep growing through this because yeah, there's a lot of like unknowns. And I'm very, very curious about how you navigate that unknown and how you stay in the game and uh especially when it hasn't been done before. Right? Do any of y'all have any thoughts on that?
I'd say being open and being open to learning from various sources. So it's like life experience, learning from like other podcasts, sometimes, or a book. It's never too late. We haven't read all the books. So sometimes there's books out there, right, that we have that we need to go back to, or I don't even believe you have to read a whole book. Sometimes I just have a book and I'll open it and read a couple of pages and I get what I need. I think journaling and that brain dump and, but speak of mindfulness, um, emptying yourself out, it's an actual technique. So you can then be, you know, open to new. And God speaketh through people, which was touched upon before. So our encounters, everywhere we go, we can learn from people. And there's always wisdom around us. And, it's a give and take with people. I'm a lifelong learner. And without learning, I don't know, it wouldn't be life. And as I mentioned, I taught over 30 years, English teacher, and it's the people, it's seeing them have a good life. Like I said, the parents, and I was always there for someone because I could read people. I could tell when people aren't happy or it's not their best day. And that's where I come in. How can we make the most of each day? Life's not perfect, but you don't have to like fall down and give up. So.
Yeah, with that, I would still say same thing. Even with ourselves, with our dreams, everything is process, not product. The biggest thing, even if your dream has been done before, with myself, I've realized the biggest thing that was missing from my dream was me. I did all the business end, I had all the paperwork, it was bound, I had the dream was outlined perfectly, but where was the value added? The value added is the best quote I heard for that is your vibe is your tribe. Everyone's got this amazing vibe about them that is unique to you. Add your vibration to your project, and that's the value added that no one can replicate. That's why if you do accidentally tell someone your dream, and in fact, that has happened to me. That's one of my experiences. I've had someone who has taken an idea of mine and copied it. And then they literally came to me and was like, Mark, why didn't I have the success as you? And I was like, you ain't me, bruh. That's the value added. I do it like me. And you're trying to do it as me, and you can never be me. Be yourself. So focus on you. Focus on making like this time of rest for me is what I needed because I realized my brain had been rewired to a business end. And I'm like, okay, I need to rest, detox, empty myself out, and come back to myself. And so, yeah, that whole thing of process, not product. Even when your dream hasn't manifested, there's things about you that you can work on. Like I started flossing during COVID because I had time. It's like, okay, what's something on me I can work on? Flossing. This is a good thing to help. Like I know that's something small and minuscule, but there's always something that you could be doing, especially in the age of YouTube, where people will teach you how to be an expert in something just for the clout. You hop on YouTube and learn a skill. And that in itself for me, because I always told myself I was bad with numbers. I told myself if people saw my face and heard my voice, they wouldn't support me. And then I started loving myself, not being in love with myself, but loving myself, flaws and all. And that was allowed me to bring my quirkiness to the situation. And it's less of a question of will they like me? It's now a question of well, will I like them? Not you all. You're all great, but I mean, like in any social situation, if you know what you have to offer, one, when you see someone else who has something that you don't have, you're a lifetime learner. So you're like, hey, that's a new best friend who's going to make me better because I'm going to learn what you can do. But for me, the dream is because, like I said, I've been I'm finally at an age where people take my dreams seriously. I've been pitching ideas since I was like 16. So, and it was always like, oh, you're a bit young. You're a bit young. You're a bit young. So it's always like, well, just work on yourself. And now I'm at a place now where when I do ask for mentors, my mentors are asking me for advice. And I'm like, wait a minute. They're like, no, Mark, you're my role model. I'm like, but you're like, you've been doing this for X amount of years. And but Mark, and I've just literally just gotten opportunities by being myself. And my mission has been to just be nice. So there's always a process that you can be working on if you're so focused on the product.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, let's keep things flowing here. We have time for about like two more responses. So I want to make sure we bring that in. Is anyone feeling called to bring something in?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jada.
so speaking on what Dawn said, she said about journaling. So I journal a lot. I journal like every single day. Journaling has really like saved my life, you could say. But I wrote in my journal, only intimacy with self will bring out true healing. So if you're the more you're intimate with yourselves and the more that we like get to know ourselves on like surface level basis, the more we like tap into our healing and tap into like who we truly are, and we could tap, because I believe that like we all are superheroes because we get to change day to day. We literally get to change every day. So like tomorrow we wake up and we could be a whole different person. I feel like that's a whole like superhero. Like yeah, like we all don't wear capes, but in our own way we wear our own capes to where like we are our own narratives, and we have the say so in what we like to be and who we want to be in other people's lives, not only in other people's lives but our lives as well.
Thanks for that, Jada. Brian, I saw you earlier too. I want to make sure that we bring you in. And Javier, I don't know if you've spoken to this piece at all. So why don't we can go Brian real quick, Javier real quick. Be mindful of time, and we'll wrap up after that.
I think everybody said what I wanted to say originally, but I'll
Yeah.
add something that I really like doing is just picking up new things, right? So like for example, getting on a panel, something that I've rarely done. I've done it one more time. But besides that, it's just trying out new things and seeing what you like, and just making mistakes and trying, you know what I mean? Like for example, we did a retreat in Rio de Janeiro, a fitness retreat in Rio. So you can imagine in Rio during Carnival, it was crazy, okay? And I bought 13 gringos with me. You know what I mean? Like out of 13 people, my background is Portuguese, so I speak and write Portuguese. But like besides me and two others, were like 10 that was like completely oblivious of the country, the population, the language, and so forth. Even though we had meetings and preparations, I mean, in general, they're kind of, it was new for them, right? So I think like the belief that I had beforehand was, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. Someone's gonna get shot, someone's gonna get robbed, something's gonna happen. And throughout that experience, it went so well that when I came back, there was this level of confidence that I had that I didn't have before. And unless you put yourself in these situations where you get tested, you will never upgrade to a next level. You will never be the person that you want to become because you're always kind of scared of oh, what if I fail, But it's like, even in failure, you continue to grow and you continue to progress. So I think like in order for you to gain confidence and to become, like Jada said, that superhero that you've always wanted to be, well, superheroes put their necks on the line to save people, right? And if you don't put yourself on the line to kind of save yourself, well, you won't be that person that you want to become. So I think that's really important.
Thank you for that there. Javier, I'm going to come to you here if there's anything you want to bring on here, but you got me here unless you put yourself in a space where you get tested. That really like sticks out to me. So outliers, like my ask here is like, check yourself right now. Like, are you playing it safe here? Are you allowing yourself to be in a space where you can like, it's outliers edge. I spent a lot of time talking about the outlier side of you. As I'm learning my thing, I'm like, we're going to be leaning more and more and more into the edge because that's where the tests happen. And that's where the growth happens. Javier, why don't you wrap us up for today, and then we're gonna shift everything.
Yeah, I mean, just want to add that learning is so fun, and I think that keeping your mind open to like not focusing on just one specific subject has been super helpful for me. So one would think that I would just like read and breathe fashion, but learning about cooking and just like watching some random videos about that is really intricate for me. And then that's how you start like, getting to find out that other people who have like great personalities, who have like interesting backgrounds that at the end bring something to you. I think Brian said earlier, like there's like everybody around you, like you can learn from something from the people around you. So it's just about like keeping the mind open and learning anything, even if it's not directly related with your personal or professional journey. That has been super helpful and insightful in my career.
Oh, y'all are fantastic. I'm really grateful for you bringing your experiences, choosing to play here. Like one of the secrets behind what I do is that like I love to give people experiences of things, right? And like we can talk about stuff, but like Brian, when you said like I've only been on one other panel beforehand, it meant something to me, right? Because I'm like I'm making this up because I'm like, why can't we do this here? And what would it look like if we did it here? And I honestly thought that this was about like I'm gonna meet a whole bunch of people, but what's really been amazing is that y'all are meeting each other, and collectively outliers are getting a chance to get to know you. So I'm very grateful for you being here. And outliers, I'm going to speak to you here. My ask is that you've just had an experience with 5 incredible outliers who shared their journey, how they see things in the world, how they continue to level themselves up. And there may be some parts of it where you're just like, oh, got you. I got this. Right. My ask is that there may be someone else in your world that's looking for that same kind of feeling, that's spinning their wheels, that's looking at time in a certain way, that's looking at wondering like when it's all going to come together. And my ask is that you take this episode and you share it with that one person. It's part of our one person, one conversation at a time initiative, where we just ask you to just find one person to gift this conversation to. You can go and share it on every one of your platforms. We're happy for you to yell it from the mountaintops on this here. Don, I'm looking at your background. It's making me think about that. But I think underneath here, especially with this movement, one person, one conversation at a time, and letting them know that you see them. I think it just really will go really far. So you can pause this, like go share that message and listen to the rest of this as we go on. Right. So thank you all for being a part of the roundtable. What we're going to do now is that we're going to close off and make sure outliers know how they can continue to stay in your world. And the way that we do that is that they're covered. Outliers are good. They got what they're going to get here. So now what I'm looking forward to hearing is like, how can they go deeper in your world with you? And then what is also an insight that you got from this conversation? What's something that you're going to be taking away as a result of this conversation? All right. So how they go deeper and an insight you got. I'm just going to go to each of you one at a time. We'll start with Brian, then we'll go to Mark.
So basically, you want my socials? Is that what you're asking for
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. Generally speaking, I like to frame it
Yeah.
in a different context. But
I love it. I was
I'm
like, is
like
he asking what he's asking, or am
I,
I?
I'm asking for it. Yes.
Okay, so my Instagram is full body athletics. So full body, that's the name of my gym, full body underscore athletics. My podcast, I also have a podcast called Upgrade Mentality. So you can look it up on Spotify, Apple iTunes. We also have a TikTok, full body athletics, and YouTube, full body athletics. So the whole around there. And come with me on my podcast or on my Instagram feeds. You'll see I'm the same person that I am on this panel. You'll get to enjoy free tips on nutrition, on spirituality, on different ways of moving, right? Because movement is very large and in charge. And also in my podcast, Upgrade Mentality, we go even deeper on these subjects, but also talk about what we spoke about today about entrepreneurship, about upgrading our mentality in order to continue forward. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brian. And what's something that you're taking away from it? What's an insight that you got from this conversation, if
So
any?
yes, so many, but I think it's just like continue to work on yourself, you know what I mean? And I think that also listening to yourself and not comparing yourself to other people and understanding that you're on your own journey and understanding that you have to work on yourself to know what you're actually good at so you can give out to the world and like attract the life that you've always wished for. So I think that's something that I'm going to take with today.
Well, I appreciate you, Brian. Let's go to Mark, and then we'll go to Dawn.
Oh yes, I'm on Spotify, iTunes. I have a couple of podcasts out there. My main one is Real Talk with Mark West. I'm also on YouTube. I have a few video series going on there, which is where Real Talk now lives. But everything can be found at Hey Mark West. That's heymarkwest.com. You'll find all the links there. Or if you want to find me on any of my socials, everything is IB, letter I, letter B, Mark West, because IB Mark West. Something I took away is that same idea that yes, these journeys are going to be different. And there will be some times where it feels like you're doing something wrong because no one can relate. And I guess my biggest takeaway is that in itself, let's lets you know that you're kind of on the right path, because there is no cookie cutter journey, and we are all original masterpieces. And masterpieces take time. And who's to say they're ever to be finished? Because let's be honest, the Mona Lisa isn't really done. So it takes time. Masterpieces take time, and the journey looks unique for everyone. That's my biggest takeaway, because I was really, woo, experiencing some time of like, is it just me? Like, is this little rest period actually just a detour? But no, after speaking with some other outliers who are experiencing similar things but in their own way, my biggest takeaway is to just keep the faith, keep working on yourself, and keep moving forward.
Well, we appreciate you, Mark. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for bringing that in.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, let's go to Dawn, and then we'll go to Javier.
Okay, Purposeful Life Coach is my website. Purposeful Life Coach is my Instagram, and also my podcast, which I said was not active, but there's plenty of episodes till I restart it. But I have a lot of good topics and one of them was stepping out of one's comfort zone. I believe we need to do that to grow. So I guess that is what I learned today. Like, always step out of your comfort zone. And what is the next thing in your process? I've heard that word a lot today, Mark. The process. And what is next? There's so many things that could be next. You found us, we didn't find you. And I also believe that too. So what's meant for us will come to us as well, and we can do our part. It's a balance of both of those things. So I really enjoyed meeting all of you. We don't have to be in the same business to learn from each other. That's another thing I learned.
Well, thanks, Dawn. There's more. There's definitely more to come. Let's go to Javier. And then we'll go to Jada, and then we'll wrap up for today.
Yeah, www.political.fashion. There's new content every Friday. Everything is done by me or supervised by me. So I think one of the biggest insight has been, oh, sorry, my socials. I Javier Luna, Instagram and Twitter and Blue Sky. And I think one of the biggest insights has been, we started the conversation going on what is one thing that that a lot of people don't know that you're doing. And I think that is something that makes part of our business, our thing, our career unique, right? So for me, it is the love and the passion and the research that I put into every single article. There are outlets that publish, several articles a day, and for me, it's about like the love and the care and the attention to detail and the deep meaning. So for instance, it took me like 8 or 9 days to do research on Wicked because I really wanted to get into the details of the storytelling and the textures and the colors. So really not letting go of that unique thing that makes us special. And that even if a lot of people don't see it at first.
I appreciate you, Javier. Thank you so much. Jada, bring us home here, and we'll wrap up for today.
Okay, so my social handles is RAE McWashington, MC and then Washington, Instagram and Facebook. My TikTok is Ray with 2 A's and then MCW. But my biggest takeaway is that we all learn from one another, and we all learned in like different perspectives, but we tied it all in our own perspective, if that makes sense. So I'm taking away that I learned from you guys, and I thank you guys for even coming on here and talking and like showing like words and wisdom and stuff.
Well, I thank you all for coming here and doing the same. It's been an incredible conversation. I wish you all the ongoing success. And Outliers, remember this: until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.